So I'm assuming that you've read the passage already. Which of the following is not a likely subject for a novel by West not mentioned by the passage? The passage definitely mentions that he was the, where does that mention? Illustrate the emptiness and alienation of ambitious young Americans in The Day of the Locust. And then in Miss Lonely Hearts, it's the grimly decadent New York intellectual society. And then we also have a cynical young man as he searches for enlightenment inside the intestines of the Trojan horse. So the subjects of the books that we have mentioned are all about alienation and frustration, and perhaps being out of place or being in a difficult place, because we have people struggling in Hollywood, people struggling in New York society, and people struggling in the intestines of a Trojan horse. Okay, so alienation and frustration in a foreign setting, perhaps. A young painter grappling with the unanticipated consequences of early success early in his career. So it's not a geographical location, but struggling, frustration, we have frustration, grappling, and something being in a new situation, we have unanticipated consequences, so that could be a subject. B, the visit a young second-generation American makes to his ancestral country. Frustration isn't mentioned, but clearly this is a person going to another land, and since it is mentioned that his parents moved from Lithuania, he himself was second generation, and since a lot of the books are also, if not autobiographical, related to his to his life, that seems possible. Same thing with choice C. An American expatriate community in Europe after World War II, you have a group of people outside their native place and the struggles that they might have with that, which is what a lot of his books were about. A sordid romance between a migrant worker and the wife of an agricultural magnate. So here, there's not necessarily frustration, at least not in the sense of struggling with things beyond your control, and there's also not necessarily the protagonist being out of place. So a romance novel is kind of out of keeping with these stories of alienation. So D is promising. E, an allegorical modern-day retelling of the Oedipus myth. Well, he uses the Trojan horse in one of his books, so he's certainly comfortable using Greek mythology. So retelling of the Oedipus myth is also very possible. Choice D, a romance novel, is the least in keeping with Nathaniel West's stated works.